Some French princes that became old dirty bastards. Spent half their life off their nut getting plastered. 2 decades later after they first met, now chatting shit on your TV set. It's Scotty Motty, Scotty Motty, Scotty Motty, Scotty Motty, Scotty Motty.
I'm Motty, that's Scotty, this is Scotty and Motty, and we thought we'd do a quick video just to chat about Mental Health Awareness Week. It is running this week, as you can see behind us. When we started this podcast, Scotty, we sort of... I don't think we actually had the conversation about we are going to talk about mental health.
No.
Or our own mental health.
No.
We just did, didn't we?
Yeah, I
mean, we just sort of chatted when we started doing it, like it was just me and you in a room with no one watching, which it kind of was when we started anyway.
Yeah. It was me, you, and John from Birmingham.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
There was like 3 people on it. But no, we didn't. We just sort of went down that route of, I don't know, for me, I've said this to you a million times, bro, it was like quite therapeutic because I've always been able to chat to you about anything, and we were in lockdown, and we'd sort of not spoken a lot that recently because of lockdown and other stuff, so it was good to sort of just chat, and we just started doing that, and the response was people were quite...
There was, a lot of people out started like... It's weird actually because you never think that people would take an interest in you just talking about your mental health or general chit chat really.
No, you're right, because when I went to Australia with Stretford Paddock, the amount of people that stopped me and were like talking about Scotty and Motty, but things we'd said, thank you for talking about that.
I get that quite a lot, like people, I was in the park the other week and someone said that thanks for what you and Jay talk about, and it's not, whilst I enjoy the football side of it, it's more about the honesty, and I think that's what it is because we talk to each other just like the mates we are, I guess.
Yeah, I think, like, listen, when I was younger, me and you've said this, mental health, talking about your mental health with your mates wasn't a thing. And that's not a reflection on my friends. And that's even when me and you met, when we was in our 20s. It's just, you didn't really do that. If you were struggling, you put a brave face on it, kept it to yourself, or in my case, just used more drugs and drank more. You wouldn't say, do you know what, I'm feeling depressed, bro, or I'm struggling, or I'm in suicidal thoughts. Yeah, I've had those things and spoken about those things to you, to my family, to other people, and been able to get help and guidance around that. And I think we are getting to a place where the stigma around chatting about mental health isn't what it was. I still think there's a little bit there.
No, I think maybe it is a little bit there, but I think it's a hell of a lot more better than it was when we were growing up. I think if you look at the thing that the Wolves did at the weekend, you see the advert of the Wolves, that was really good. And I think that's shown how the football community comes together. And a lot of the time, I mean, I don't know for you, but that's why I loved football, because I liked just sharing time with, like-minded people and stuff, and then friendships. It's a community as well as it is just the game on the pitch. But yeah, it's so much different now than it was when we were growing up in terms of talking about stuff. I don't think the stigma's there enough. Yeah, everyone says just talk and stuff, and I think that's great, but I don't think people do. And I think sometimes the tagline can just be a little bit, I don't know, condescending. I think at sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Do you think it's gone too far?
What, in what way?
Like the awareness has gone too far. Not like the awareness has gone too far, but I think because I think it's everywhere now, but I still think there's a lot of people that don't feel comfortable coming forward to talk about it.
It's putting it into action, and it's how do you say it by more than
it's just... Better, that's what I mean. It's like as a brand, I think it's... Yeah. I hate that word, but as a brand of just talk, like everyone will put hashtag that. Yeah. But let's have honest conversations behind it. There needs to be more than just 3 words or whatever. Don't suffer in silence. And great, I agree with you. Don't suffer in silence. But there are people out there that are falling through the cracks, and a lot of it, whilst these people are in like an absolute quagmire and, like we were talking before, like deepest, darkest places that you can find yourself in, and both me and you have been through that. I think that it isn't about just talk, and I don't think it's just about don't suffer in silence. It's more about the people that are surrounding these people that are going through that and identifying it as much much as it is about saying just talk. Right? It's all right asking for so you're asking for the person that feels like life's hopeless. There's no point in doing this. He's not going to talk. He's not going to do it. The person who's going to talk is the person that needs to reach down with a helping hand. Maybe the person that's isolating themselves or drugging or drinking themselves away or acting like well out of character, that is their way of vocalizing what they're going through. Maybe they can't talk because they don't know how to verbalize it, but their actions probably do. So at that point, you need to find or someone needs to identify, like, you're not doing well. You know, that's for me is more important than don't suffer in silence. And I'm not taking anything. I'm not taking it away from that.
No, I know you're not, but it's an important point. You're saying that maybe the focus doesn't always need to be on the person that is actually going through it, or maybe not the focus. The onus doesn't need to be on them to speak up. Sometimes those around them, those people, well, you might notice you've not seen someone for a little while, or they've not been on the end of a phone as much, or they've not been getting involved in the chats when they do, or they've not been, going to the game or whatever, or you know what I mean? It's like, hang on a minute, or when you have seen them, they've been getting absolutely twisted, or they've not been speaking as much, or they've seemed distant. Those little telltale signs, you can reach out and you can try and sort of help them.
I think what happens as well is that you build up a resentment. I'm only speaking from personal experience here, is that, like, when you're in your darkest place, you want your people or your friends to sort of reach out and stuff. Like, I remember when I was going through stuff, and not you personally, but there are a friends group, like a WhatsApp group I've been in, and I'm like thinking, right, well, I've purposely not reached out to them because I want someone to come to me, because I didn't know how to do it, but I wanted someone to sort of say, "Are you all right?"
Yeah.
I wanted, like, my mate to say that, and they never did, and I was like, that fucked me off. It really, really did. It's not their fault, because I had expectations upon them. It's not right for you to have expectations on other people. But I think if we're more aware about people's behaviour, because we know people, you know your friends, you know your circle, you know your family, you know when someone's acting out of sync. Why would you not ask that question?
See, that's mad, because with me it's the other way around. When I was going through it, I wanted to be left alone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was using a lot of drugs and drinking a lot, and a lot of it was in my flat. And I was going through the worst time I've ever been, and I was isolating myself, and I was like trying to isolate myself as much as possible, because I didn't want anyone getting in the way of me getting twisted, of me getting sort of being on my own, of me just sort of wallowing in it almost. And I was lucky that I had people that weren't having that. They weren't, and they were like, they did reach out, and I did have those moments of clarity where I was like, right, I need to get some help actually, which I did. But I get your point, and I think that's a valid sort of argument to make, is like, you know what, you can reach out to someone, you can ask that question, you can do. And I think I always feel a little bit like got some responsibility. Me and you talk a lot about this stuff. You're not just on camera, off camera. We've both got decent followings on social media, both given platforms, whether that's on the radio, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's on socials, whatever, where you've got an audience out there. I'm not saying you have to go on there and every day or every moment of every hour you have to sort of bash people over the head with, you need to do this or but you can be honest and open and say, look, you know what, I've struggled, I've been through it, I still struggle, it's okay to chat about it. And anyone that says it's not, or anyone that takes the piss out of you, cut them out. You don't need them with you. No, don't need them in your life.
I think they'd be the minority now, though, John.
I think you're right. And I think, I mean, football's a good example. I remember when I was a kid at football, when I was little, racism was rife. When I was little, it was like part and parcel of the game. You saw chants, you saw monkey sort of noises. It was like, black players getting booed and all that sort of nonsense. And it became not just marginalised, people just weren't having it. Not just because you had more black players, more black people in the crowd, or whatever, but whatever reason, for a multitude of reasons, it was part of what I've just mentioned. But it became to the point where if people were being racist, not all the time, but they would get called out. They would be the ones that were sort of
pushed to margins.
Marginalised, and rightly so. And I feel like we're getting there with mental health awareness, is that people who take the piss out of it, people who say, if you're struggling, just get a grip, whatever, they're becoming the minority. I still think there's an issue around it, and I still think sometimes we can have it attitude ourselves where it's like, just get on with it, and just, Football's another one. I keep going back to football because it's quite prevalent, and, it's obviously relevant. You hear it now where someone's struggling with mental health, just get on with it. He's got mental health. It's not, you've heard comments like, it's not a real injury, he's just struggling.
Yeah.
That's if he had a broken leg, would you expect him to play? No. If he's struggling mentally, why do you expect him to play? Why is that not a real issue? It's a health issue, and if someone's struggling, then they can't play football.
Yeah.
That's a given. shouldn't be a discussion about that. That should be obvious. But we're still in that place sometimes where we'll just get on with it, and that's something that I think we can all be better around. Because I've been guilty of it sometimes. You go, okay, is he? Maybe you could play him. I've heard people say like, oh, maybe you could just play in the Carabao Cup game.
Oh, because you can just turn it on and off.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, right. Well, if you got a broken leg, can you play in the Carabao Cup game?
Yeah, because
is that how it works?
The thing is, depression doesn't strike during the League Cup.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You know, do you not heard that one?
It's part of the it's in the rules. It's in the rules, subsection 3, paragraph 2. I do feel we're getting there, and I feel like weeks like Mental Health Awareness Week can be a positive move forward. It can highlight some of the issues. It can give people that little bit more of a reminder. Some people that might need it, help is out there, and I think we as a channel and as me and you as mates are always talking about it and encouraging people to get involved and to chat and to not feel like there isn't other options available. Do you know what I mean? I've been in some dark places, man, but there's always help out there. You just got to take that first step and reach out. And sometimes, like you saying, Scotty, someone's got to reach out to you.
Yeah. I mean, and until someone does reach out to you, and obviously don't go down the dark steps of turning to drugs or drink, or if you already have and you find yourself alone, for me it's trying not to catastrophize and not look at all your problems at once, because then it just looks like an absolute shitstorm and nobody can sort that out. So when you're looking at whatever issues are going on, it always like spirals and you go this and this. Don't worry about any of that. Just try and focus on the present of where you are in the here and now. Are you alive? Yes. All right, good. Are you breathing? Yes. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Have you got a roof over your head? Yeah. Yes. And they do I started doing I had to go through, I didn't tell you this, but on camera now, I just had to go through CBT again, so that's cognitive behavioural therapy again, and started going through like a gratitude journal. That works massively for me. Yeah. Oh my days. Like seriously, like I wake up in the morning every morning, and I sometimes wake up in the foulest mood, especially if there's no coffee on the premises. But I write a gratitude journal every morning, just simple things like kids, I'm alive, I've got eyes, I've got my eyesight. Do you know what I mean? We take so much.
I'm mates with Jay.
No, what's the opposite of gratitude? That's what you're on. No, yeah, obviously, I do that. Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah,
it goes without saying.
Making light of my mental health. That's it. That's it. He didn't reach out for me. He was the one who was talking about. He did really, though. Yeah. No, he really, really did.
Like, you've got a choice. I'm reaching out to you daily whether you want to or not. Yeah. No, I get that, because gratitude lists in recovery, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
It is, and it's easy to forget some of the things you've got going on.
I wonder if there's some sort of thing in our makeup, and it does go back to caveman times about catastrophizing, about caveman used to always worry about, is a dinosaur going to come and eat my ass? This is serious, this is where it all stems from, why we sort of fear into the future.
Really?
Because a caveman on Neanderthals, they used to have to sort of worry about, okay, is there a scent? Is there going to be easy access for a T-Rex or whatever to come and, feast on me? So they always had to fear about where they were doing and stuff. And we still carry that similar trait today. We think ahead. But it's getting that control and taking yourself out of that sort of primal fear. It's a natural thing within us that we always fear ahead. Right. We don't have to be that way when you sort of break it down and put yourself in this, the present moment. Nothing ever, 99% of the time, is as bad as I've ever feared it to be.
No.
As are you?
No, you're right. 100%. It's very easy to catastrophize, as you say, and I've done that a million times myself. And thinking about not just how bad things are, but how bad things are going to get, and what's going to happen, and then actually when you get into the reality of it, it's not that bad, and there is a solution. There's always a answer to the problem.
Right. So if someone's watching now, the gratitude journal would be mine. What would be the, I don't know, so one thing, what would be the one sort of tip? If you just
reach out to someone, whether you're not struggling yourself, reach out to someone. Yeah. Reach out to one of your friends, just drop someone a message, see how they are, just say hello.
I do that.
Say hello, how's it going?
Especially if people have had a recent, some friends have had bereavements and stuff like that, and obviously that's the hardest of times to get through. And especially if people go, just drop them a message, man, or you've not heard from someone in a while. It doesn't need to be as on the nose as, have you got mental health problems? What?
What
are you up to? Yeah. That's it. Do you know what I mean? No. Just that. Unless it's a family WhatsApp group.
Yeah, family WhatsApp group. We'll do another episode about that, honestly. That's a different story.
We need an awareness group week for that.
Yeah, exactly. Probably an awareness month. That's been Scotty, I've been Motty. Thanks to everyone who supported the channel, and hopefully, you've got something from what we've been chatting about, and just get involved in the chat and the comments. let us know how things are for you, and make sure as well you are reaching out to someone. And if you're, someone who's everything seems okay, you're in a good place, maybe reach out to one of your friends and make sure they are too. And a big thank you to you all. Thanks for watching.